Guys, what is up? Hey, in this specific live, what we're actually going to be doing, we're going to be diving into editing an email. So we did an email in the past, right? And we tested the email, and the email had its results, right? So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to go through adjusting the email, changing some of the automation within the email, but most importantly, the logic within the email, because there's a lot of things that are happening. So stick with me. You're going to see some of the brain working, right? And we're going to see how we actually adjust some of this logic. So that being said, so now first, backstory. Why the frig are we doing it? Like, Cam, you built it once. Why not leave it, right? Well, part of business and part of doing things, you're constantly adjusting things. So you build a process. So there's a specific process. I call those the structure of variables, right? And then the variables change. So as long as your structure's there, right, you never need to change your structure. You can always go in and change your variables. So in this case, we'll be focusing on, again, adjusting an email sequence. So this way, again, you'll be able to see where it's at, what happened. You'll be able to see why we're adjusting it and everything. So that being said, let's dive right in. So first thing I'd like to start with is I always start within the gFunnel platform. So now why do I start within the gFunnel platform? Okay. So firstly, we have a lot of things going on here. This is a awesome growing community. I would highly suggest being part of it. You can create a free account, right? Be part of it. You can share awesome things. You can schedule some of our blueprint sessions, and you can get access to a lot of our different assets. Now we are opening up an unlimited asset plan shortly. Okay, what this plan is this plan's it will be, I'll tell you the pricing, it will be between, it's a monthly membership, of course, right? But it'll be between $97 a month to $147 a month, roughly, right? Somewhere in between there. I'm thinking more the $147. The reason is because more money means more payout, because we have like a 50 to 70% affiliate system. We have a massive affiliate system, so the more money there is, the more payout there is, okay? So, but what it's doing is we're unlocking the ability to give out unlimited software. So instead of like deviating it out, saying, oh, well, this one gives you only this much and this one gives you this much, it's like, let's just give you full access. Boom, you got it. Okay, it costs a little. It's like, again, 97 to 297, bring in the middle, 147. That's the thought. Unlimited access. Now you can come in, you can get as many lead connector accounts as you desire, as many play accounts as you desire, as many contract hub or AI accounts, whatever it is that you desire, you can get those things. That's the idea and the goal of this specific thing. Now we will also have like a more white labeled advanced system. It'll cost more, right? Because there's servers required and there's a few things that make it cost a little bit more. Okay, but that being said, that's what we're doing. So if you want to be a part of that support, feel free to message me or feel free to create an account, feel free to sign up, okay? Now, that being said, let's dive in. So I'd like to start within gFunnel. So now what the heck are we dealing with? So I'll just pull it up really quick. So we're in Lead Connector right now, okay? So in Lead Connector, we're gonna jump up and we're going to jump into our automation. So one of the automations that we're focusing on is we have a specific, so how we organize it is we have marketing and operations, and then the operations expands and expands and expands. This is like internal aspects that happen during operations, okay? We're gonna focus in our marketing side. So our marketing, next thing, campaigns. So let me zoom in a little bit. Campaigns, okay? One of the things that we're focusing on is the journey. So the journey, we're focusing on a series. Again, we tested it with about 25, close to, it's like 2,400 emails going through it, right? We could come in, we can check the logic of these guys. So again, we build it a little bit different, but we have like this one, journey number 1, 24. I'm going to just kind of show you the email itself. So again, there's some logic in here, so I can jump in here, pull up some logic, right? We had an error here, so our open went kind of down, but we had a big error there. So we'll be adjusting that. We'll be adjusting that quite a bit here. Okay, but anyways, let me jump into here. Jump into this guy. So this was kind of our template beforehand, right? We're testing content in a template. And the idea, lean on me, there's a song that people can go and click on, right? It was kind of to be personal and adaptive, and it's great and all. But what I've learned from sending out tons of different emails, like this is what most people do. So we wanted to test it, right? We wanted to test, this is what most people are doing, long content-based emails. Do we like it? Do we not like it? What's going on? Um, well, I wanted to test more stuff. I didn't like this. Okay. So that being said, what I ended up changing it to, I'll just jump into our templates really quick. I changed it to a few different things with this specific focus. The specific focus is people don't really care so much about the content. They care about the actions that they're going to take, right? And I can either do these actions for them or I can guide them through it. And I figure guiding many people through these situations will help expand them. And my whole goal is to help expand people, help grow people, make sure that they're making the money if they desire to make money, make sure that they're getting the things that they desire. That's my whole goal, right? And I like that goal. I like that goal a lot. I like helping people on that side. Now, that being said, what does that mean? Okay, so that means a little bit of adjustments. So here's our adjustments we're doing. Okay, so we'll jump in. It's called the journey still because, again, there's a journey piece. You can start seeing the emails. So we can actually rock through these emails quite a bit. I'm currently doing them. I haven't pushed it over to any teammates yet. I'm currently doing them, but I'll only show you kind of how it works. So different design, right? Way different design than what we had. We had a content-rich design. This one has HTML, right? It has, geez, a GIF file, right? But the focus becomes, I feel, clearer, right? We had an email with just freaking content, right? Now we have something that's clearer, right? And it's kind of direct to the point. Like what our goal is on this one is directly bring them in, right? So somebody comes in, right? Let's just pretend they come into this big world, right? They're in this big world and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, the dopamine XYZ. It's like, cool, well, why are you here, right? Why are you here? You're probably here to make some money online. You're probably here to get things going. You're probably here to be a digital marketer or to be a business owner or to again, separate yourself from your 9 to 5. There's so many reasons why you're here, right? So the question is, why are you here, okay? The next thing is, I don't know, right? Most people know why they're there, I would assume. They're there to do business, and I'm going to assume that the entire way. I'm going to say, I assume that you're here to make money. I assume that you're here to build your future. That's what I assume, okay? Now, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But that's what I'm going to assume because that way it pushes people forward. So then we come in, we bring people into this sector right here, okay? And the whole goal of this is, the emails is to get people in to understanding the platform and be able to use the platform because it's highly advanced. It's so highly advanced that it's more highly advanced than most things on the market, right? And that being said, we need to guide people. We need to walk people through it. Not only what are they going to do here, but how do they grow? So what we do is we bring them in. Welcome to GFunnel. Introduction, right? So now here's an introduction. I'll just show you really quick. Introduction. Boom.
Hey there, my name's Cameron Garlick, and I am the creator and founder of GFunnel, and I wanted to welcome you to
now
our
they can come in here.
Started steps. In this specific journey,
I want them to start here. Okay, maybe you can't hear it, maybe you can, right? But I want them to start here. I want them to start, get familiarized. I want them to start, understand what the frig is this thing. This is your members portal. This is where you access your assets, and we're going to give you a lot of free assets, a lot of things to get rocking. Right? We want them to understand this. We want them to understand that the help center is there for them, that it's there to help them, okay? Then we want to go through business setup, right? So this is the whole welcome section. The next one is business setup. We're going to take them through step by step. Your first thing is getting set up with your social media, right? Module overview.
Hey there, and welcome to this section. In this section, we're going to be talking about your profile setup. And I'm not just talking about GFunnels. This spans some of your tracking.
So now the idea is guiding them through getting their meta set up. So let's say they're like, hey, I'm going to set up my
engage
Facebook.
With them, give them content. 2,000 views since your profile. 7 billion active 20.
So it walks through each step of setting up Facebook. Next one, every step of setting up Instagram. Instagram's mobile. So we had to, of course, make it so it's mobile. So look, here's the mobile side. Right, so now there's a mobile walkthrough.
Instagram. No.
So there's walking through mobile, walking through WhatsApp, right? WhatsApp's mobile, but we're doing it in a sense where people can come in, they can search it. We have step-by-steps of every detail because here's the goal. We want people to succeed. So I know people sell like these courses for like hundreds and thousands of dollars. I don't give a shiz. I want people to have it for free. They come in, I want them to learn business. Here's all the platforms, learn them, create them. Why? We're going to be using them to drive traffic, right? So now what do these emails do? So these emails direct people into here, not necessarily into here. Eventually we connect them into here, but they connect people into here. That's what these specific emails do. So that's why we're adjusting them. Because again, the other ones, although were personalized and kind of, right? They didn't quite match what we needed to do. So yeah, we're gonna make that happen. So that being said, we're gonna dive into some operations. So I always open up a diagram for operations. So let's just do that really quick. So we're gonna say here, we're gonna open up from our Google Drive. We're gonna connect to our Google Drive. Okay. Connecting to our Google Drive, and then we're going to jump into our, I had a business model. Let me just make sure it is added and saved. It might not be. It might not be. Let me just check. Overview. That's okay. We're going to start it from scratch. I'm going to end up grabbing it. I'll bring it in so that way we can see it right here. But we're going to call this one, well, let's just see. We should have one that says onboarding. I usually do it from my laptop and I have it saved so I can do it offline. But we're just going to grab one here, onboarding. Okay, and we're going to focus on a campaign here. So we'll just do it in this window right here. Let's take a look and see if this one is active. Okay, so here's onboarding. And you know what I'm going to do here? Watch this, watch this. I'm going to make a post here. So let me expand this a little bit. I'm going to grab this guy, selected areas here. I'm going to get like 1,000, I think, posts, or 1,000. Here, let's go. Marketing overview. Marketing organization overview. That way you can kind of see how we're attracting people in, if that makes sense. So I'll come into here. Let me grab this. I'm going to do these, and this will be for you too, so you'll have it. I'm going to show you a quick way of creating content. Here, let's go to select this. Let's go here. Let's save this guy. Save that guy. And then that's enough. I'll just do this one more. Just to zoom in, make sure it's not too bad. Here. Select here. And I'm going to add it actually here. So we're going to add our email sequence here. And we're going to do it a little bit different on this one. So I'm just taking these pictures so that way I can have this. Now, let me show you something that you could do. So let's say you built this, right? What we could do is we could actually grab all of this stuff. Let's just grab it. Grab it. Let's copy it, okay? In this one, we're going to go to Overgrowth. I'm just showing you quick content. So we'll do the same thing with our email system, okay? And I'll say this. Can you help me organize this system? This is a marketing overview that goes over each process. There you go. So I just add it. See what I just did? I just added all of this craziness. So if you see, that's all craziness, right? So here you go. For our humble processor. They need it smaller. Yes, yes, yes. Let me get it smaller. Let me just do this one. Copy. Sure. Come here. There you go. And then we can grab this into this guy right here, marketing. I'll probably take a picture right here, some automations. Should be in our operations, and we should be in, maybe I don't have it in here. Let's just create it. I'll just say tracking. So why I'm showing you this stuff is because we're going to jump into our tracking modules, okay? Now our tracking modules, let me jump into one of our old builds. Let's just take a look really quick. We have marketing, let's just see, organizer, and then we have marketing organizer with time. Let's just check. Okay. So that's one of them. So I'll just take a screenshot there. Again, just for documentation purposes, I like to screenshot everything. Let's go into our monthly marketing. Oh, I don't have our monthly quarter start. Okay, so this is quarter start. So it marks and manages everybody throughout the quarters. Okay, let's jump back. Let's see anything else. It should be organized. Business Elite Standard. Alrighty, I'll have to probably check one of our other accounts. It looks like it doesn't have quite the whole thing, but that's okay. So here we go. I would like to create an article for this. The goal is called the Perfect Marketing Organizer. Okay. So again, I like using Grok. Like Grok, in my opinion, is one of the best that I've found. It's even better than ours. I mean, straight up. I've gone through the processes of it. I've had it break it down so that way I can be like it, because my goal is to be like it, if that makes sense. I want to grow something bigger and bigger and better and better. And that's one of the big things that we'll be focusing on. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna do this really quick. Perfect. Can you organize this into a single post? I'm going to jump into the Go High Level community. So this way I can get, last time I did the perfect email system, it was kind of crazy. This one I'm doing an even bigger system. Let's see, I do not want this to sell at all. It is only for information and as a help. Think of it as a guide to help people set it up. Okay, and then I'm going to grab here. So write a post. Let's write a post. Let's add in our pictures. Please include the details as if it is an article. Here, let's go like this. And I'll just call it perfect email. Similar to this. I'm just showing you how fast it is to create content. Really quick. We'll jump right back into the email. Now, there's a reason why. So me just creating this post, right? So I'm just creating a simple post, and me creating this post is going to generate money. Like, that's how it works. I mean, that's how easy it is, if that makes sense. Let's just see. Invite that. Stop. Is not email. I shared an example. Email operation. Let's see if it'll work. If it doesn't work, we're going to kind of skip past, and we're going to go in there. There we go. Copy that. That's perfect. I'll just paste that. Okay, let me remove this. Let's remove that. How to implement that. You can't see on my screen, but I'll show you. Let's delete this. Okay, cool. We got that done. Let me now add these pictures. And voila. Post that guy, and we should be good to go. All right, cool. So now we're going to dive right back into setting that up. So what I just did is I just set up a quick post. That quick post should get everyone to see kind of the systems of how they actually work. And then they'll block me, so I'll have to just repurpose and redo it. So that being said, let's dive in. So I just did a post. That post should generate us a little bit more traffic to our name, which is perfect. And now let's jump into back to this diagram. Okay, so we have a few different things. We're going to focus. So again, what this is, what the summary is, let me explain it. This summary is just a marketing overview, meaning we can track everything that happens within each and every stage and each and every person, right? So to step back, right? Because I did a lot of stuff in here and I didn't do stuff in here and express it to you. So stepping back, okay? This specific piece just lets you know that a person can make a choice. So let's say they go to your website, let's say they click on your email, let's say they do something. There's a choice to be made. And there's tons of choices to be made. But your goal is to organize the actionable choices. So an actionable choice, so for example, we did the perfect email sequence. An actionable choice is to click unsubscribe. That's an actionable choice, okay? An actionable choice is to open something and not click. That's an actionable choice. In these specific new email sequences, there is a path that we're taking somebody on. So we have an end goal. Everybody is going to achieve that end goal. Everybody. Now there's a time delay based off everybody achieving that based on their choices. I know that sounds like, well, what are you getting at, Cam? Like, what are you getting at? And I'll show you. Okay, so first let's dive right in. So I'll get into a blueprint so I can express everything. Here we go. The email system's up. Okay, here's our email system. Perfect. And we're going to do this one. This one is, we'll call it the journey. The journey. Getting started. Okay. And then I'm going to share my screen in here. So here we go. So we have a fresh section open. Okay. This fresh section is just going to kind of show you the module of what we have when people get started. This is the new one. Okay. So the very first thing, we'll just kind of, we have to do like a trigger. So we're going to say they're going to activate their account, right? So we're going to say it's profile verification. Now, why do we wait until profile verification to continue and bring somebody forward? Well, we want them to sign the agreements that we have and the terms that we have before we give them all of the free value. Does that make sense? Like, we want to make sure that people are taken care of prior to beginning our value. Now, there's a big reason why. I'll explain the big reason why. I think I even have the big reason why drawn out, but I'll just explain it. You have something called a Trojan horse. What a Trojan horse is, this is a person that perceives as something great. They perceive as something that's going to benefit your business, to benefit your company, to benefit whatever it is. I call it the Trojan horse. The reason why I call it the Trojan horse is because, think back on the Trojans. You have this big horse that was built out of wood that was just like a gift that was given. That gift that was given entered into their kingdom. And then sure enough, at night, you had a bunch of soldiers inside that went in and destroyed the kingdom. That's where the Trojans lost, okay? Trojan horse, right? Take that same concept for your business. There are people that put this great perception, but their whole goal is to get inside of your business so they can destroy it. Now, why am I sharing that with you? I mean, this happened to me and it cost me millions of dollars. I don't want it to happen to you. So I'm going to share it with you. The whole system that we have is based on things that happened to me. Like, I had people that stole from me. Like, for instance, I'll say live. Like, I had individuals, like when I worked with Door to Door Con, I went there. We built this big thing. Me, Sam Taggart, and a guy named Jonah Cafferty. We went and built this big thing, right? I focused on the processes and the systems to make things work, which was like the university of how things work and the process and the operations of different things. Again, Jonah focused on sales. Sam focused on the picture. Sam stole it from both of us. All of us had a guarantee, had a verbal contract, right? We thought we were all friends and stole it from us. That concept resonated with me that it could happen to anybody. People can put on this fake perception like they're this great person, but realistically everyone's the same and everyone's trying to find their in. Same thing that person did. Found his in, not only found his in, but now making like $30 million per year. Okay, so there's quite a few different things. I don't want people to experience that. I've experienced that over and over and over again. Okay, I've experienced it where I've built these big, massive companies over and over and over again, and people took complete value and never gave recognition back. I don't want that same thing to happen to you. I've experienced it. Again, we're talking about millions of dollars, tens of millions, maybe even close to hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay, I don't want that same thing to happen to you at all. I don't want that. So that's why I show you some of these processes, so that way you can see them, you can learn from them, you can take the concepts, and you can save yourself the pains. You can save yourself the things that I went through. That's my whole goal. Okay. So that being said, let's dive into the process. Okay. So profile verification. We want everyone to verify their profile. Why? We have NDAs. We have certain things inside these profiles that stop the Trojan horses. Okay. That being said, we're just going to come in here. So this profile, it's going to engage something. When they verify, they're going to engage something. One of the first things they're going to get is, we'll just call it the journey, right? We're going to save some some chart. We'll call this chart. We're going to save some chart, and we're just going to call this the journey, because we're going to skip past a lot of different processes. Okay. Whoops. The journey, and we'll call this one getting started. Okay. So now we have this. Boom. Okay. And then we have, again, this is the journey, getting started, right? They're going to gain access to this. So let's just call this one a course. Okay. So this was the course. Everyone's going to gain access to this quote-unquote course. The course is going to help them build and stuff, and we're going to have a series of, and I'll just call it like this. We're going to have, I'll just make this a little bit smaller, but I have it big enough so you can see. But we would have like, we'll just have, I'll just put it as content, right? Content. Okay. So in a sense, the course is going to have its content, and this content's going to have its specific reasons for doing things, right? So that's in a sense what it does. But what also happens is not everyone's going to access this point. So what you want people to do, if this is a high priority, is you want people to access that point. You want to direct them and direct them and direct them. And this is where this workflow comes into place. So we're going to say this workflow is a marketing workflow, and the marketing workflow is to trigger the communication. So I would put it in our operations. And I won't go too deep on this, but I'll just kind of show you. Operations would be in communications. Okay, and then our operations, communications, and it would be in our outreach. Okay, now it's actually, this is too much information. You probably don't even need to know that, so I'm not even going to draw it. Okay, it's going to trigger a workflow. That's probably easier. So instead of showing you the complexity of the systems of how they work, I'll just say it's a workflow. Okay, workflow. This workflow is going to have actions. In this case, we're going to have an email sequence. Okay. It's going to follow the exact same email sequence that I shared with you, but there's going to be a few different things to it. So we're just going to call this one, again, we already named it, so we're going to dive in here. We're going to jump into our automations. So we're in our old, I want to jump into our new account, one of our new accounts. Within our new account, let's see if it'll load. Thank you, GHL, for going so amazing. And feedback for that post. I just did that post. I mean, we already have like probably 10 loves on it. So yeah, working within a few minutes. So it'll probably get like, it'll probably be one of the biggest things within the community as of right now, right? Okay. And why? Because I can do it now. Before I couldn't post. Before I was restricted. I love it that I can actually post now. Posting just skyrockets us. So it's not working. So I'm going to just kind of come ahead here. So let's just say we have this linear approach, right? So the linear approach of this email system is first there's an invite, right? This invite invites them to that specific campaign. I always start with an invite sequence. Always, always, always. Why? Because I want to invite them and go over all of the variables that I would need to invite somebody to a campaign. The next piece I would go through is a nurture, okay? Always, 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 it's the same. Now, these are variables. So what I mean by these variables, so you have an invite sequence and then you have a nurture sequence. The invite sequence starts, invites them, puts the tags on, organizes them, and then the nurture keeps on going. It's the loop, okay? That's what I do for every single campaign, ever. It's always workflow, there's an invite sequence, and then a nurture sequence, okay? And if you're wondering, you're like, well, what is this? Let's see if we can get this thing rocking. Maybe not, I don't know. Maybe I go back. Workflows, doesn't want to load. That's okay. So we'll pretend that this doesn't want to load. That's lead connector, sometimes it just does that, okay? So you're gonna have an invite sequence, you're gonna have a nurture sequence. Again, I shared this within our perfect, when I shared the perfect email operation, this was here because there's a lot more than this, but this is just the basics. The basics are you have a workflow, you have an invite, you have a nurture, okay? That's what it is, okay? So in this case, we're gonna invite, we're gonna do a nurture, but there's a few, it's not just a single linear path because there are choices. Okay, there are choices based off of what somebody did. And if this loads, I can show you some of those choices. If it doesn't load, then I can't really show you some of those choices. We can just create them, okay? Let's just pretend, okay? So we're going to come in and we're going to invite them, okay? They're going to invite, and now they're going to join this nurture sequence, okay? With this nurture sequence, right? So we have a specific email that's there to invite them, okay? Specific email. With this nurture sequence, so again, to put a variable here, right? This specific one, I'll just make it small. We'll just do it actually like this. I'll just put an email here. This has an email, this has tags, right? There's tags, there's emails, there's a bunch of different things. I'll just put an email for easy sake. So we send an email in, okay? With this nurture sequence, everyone's going to get this email, right? But there's going to be a path of it. There's going to be a logic to it, okay? So how this works, so everyone, and I'm just going to bring it down here. So everybody gets this first email, okay? So now this is that email. Everybody gets this very first email, okay? Now there's a logic because we have a few different pieces of people, okay? There's going to be, and I'll show you these logics. I'll just kind of put them down here so that way we can organize them pretty easy. We're going to have people who have accessed the material, right? These people have taken action on the material. That's what we're going to have. The next thing that we're going to have is, well, again, our whole goal is to get people to purchase. So we're going to have paid members, okay? So we're going to say access the material, or we're going to have paid members of the material, okay? So this is for paid members. We're going to have people that are that's basically the logic. Let me just analyze it real quick. So we have access members. So this is anyone who has access to members. That's going to have a true or false, right? We're going to have paid true or false. That's basically the logic, okay? And we're going to have a mix of both, right? So how the logic's going to work is we're going to say, okay, they're going to get their first email. Now we're going to have some variables. What are these variables? Well, these variables could be, and I'll just put it as a quadrant, okay? So we'll put it as a quadrant. There's 4 variables that can exist right here. Okay, and let's just make it like this. Just copy this, copy, right? I'll just copy this. This will be here. We have 4 quadrants that could exist, meaning 4, you can call it logistical avenues, tracks, journeys, whatever free you want to call it, right? Basically what they are, they're quadrants that exist. So we're going to call this one paid. We're going to call this one not paid, right? Or upgrade is probably better. We'll just call it G, right? As upgrade, I don't know why. They're a G, they're a member, right? And we'll just say non-G, okay? And then we'll have accessed, and then we'll have non-accessed, okay? So now what our logic is, okay, so we have first a linear process. So this is our logic. We'll kind of put it here, okay? So first we're going to do a linear access. So let's just say this is the linear access. So I'd put an email here, an email here, an email here, and we would do this about 5 times, right? I could put 5x on there, but I'm just going to show you the logic of this and how it spreads so you can understand Oh, wow, this is actually the logic. I mean, we can go more than 5. We're just going to do 5 for simple sake, okay? So now here's the logic. So let's just say this is the straightest line that this logic can take. And what I mean by that is, if you're like, straightest line, what are you talking about, Cam? Like the easiest and simplest path that somebody can go on, okay? That's what this is. And what it means is every variable has been checked. There's a check mark on every variable, meaning they're paid, they're accessing their content, and you're moving them forward. Because each and every person is not just a piece of content, they are a person. So you have to personalize things to that person. Well, you might as well personalize the journey while you're there, right? Yeah, you can say yeah. Okay, so we're now dealing with these quadrants. So let's just say this straight line of email sequences, its entirety, the entire goal is, again, to get people down this piece. So let's just say this is the best route. And this best route is, let's get these people here, right? These people are accessing the content, they're reading our content, they're implementing our content, and they're doing extremely well. Let's just say that's the case, right? Because again, the overall goal is to generate them money. And if we can generate them money, they love us. Yay, right? Let's just say, okay? So this specific piece, and I'll just do this for easy sake, is a straight line. It is the most linear process with no logic that you could ever put down. What that is, what that variable fits, is somebody who has become a paid member, somebody who has also accessed all the content, and the reason why is this. So let's just say this is the goal. This is the result that they get. So let's say that result is to generate passive money online, or let's say that result is to do whatever the frig that result is to do. They have the straightest path to get to that result based off of instructions that they have followed. Now, we know that that's not the case for everybody. We know that people are ADD, people kind of jump here, they do whatever they want, like they go crazy as hell, right? We understand that. So we just build the logic for it. What I mean by that is, this is the straight line. This is like, you've done perfect. You get your result as the fast as you can. Because at the end of the day, what are people really doing? Like, if you think about it, what are people really doing? People are working on time. They're really building these systems to combat with time. And it's always time value money. So if I could give you a result, let's just say that result is guaranteed. Let's just say theoretically, that result is guaranteed. You're going to get it. No matter what, you're going to get it. And I can say, here's your fastest pathway to get there. Or you can deviate. You can go here and here and here and here and here and here. You're going to get there as long as you follow the structure. You're going to get there. But you're not going to get there as fast as somebody else that would get there. Does that make sense? If the answer is yes, right? Right? Because you're going to have a variable, like you're going to have somebody who's fast and slow, right? Like what I mean by fast and slow is somebody who gets into all the content, consumes it right there, implements it, and is done. You're going to have that. You're also going to have somebody who is kind of slow, like I'll get to it tomorrow, right? You're going to get that. Those are variables. So you calculate the logic for variables so you can give a personalized experience. Again, if you're like, wow, this is overwhelming. Well, I warned you. It's not simple. It's complex. This is why we do it. This is why we do it for you. Is it needed? Yeah. If not, you're just sending the same email. Hi, so-and-so. How are you? And the person's like, what the fuck are you even talking about? What the frig? I like using those. You don't swear, but you come close, right? What the frig? People are going to see it, and people are going to get bored of it. You want to engage them. Hey, congratulations, you just upgraded your account. Freaking awesome. Now I'm going to get you here even faster. What do you mean? Well, you needed all of these assets to grow, but now you have all of these assets. I don't have to convince you to get these assets. You already have them, and you're already going to achieve and get that result, right? Yeah, it's like, perfect. That's why I'm here. I want you to generate passive money. Let's go. Boom. Yes, right? That's why people subscribe to the software. You see what I'm saying? Not everyone does. So that's the linear process. Now we have variables. We have somebody who is purchased and is accessing. We also have somebody who is purchased that is not quite accessing. Right? So we're going to kind of loop. There's going to be a little bit of a loop here if they're not accessing. Loop, 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 loop. Then we're going to dive deeper. Those people who haven't purchased, well, we want to get them to purchase, but now we have to tell them, hey, it's good that you purchased because you're going to need these assets, right? You're going to need this software to in order to complete this next task. We have to take our time now versus just assuming, say, you've already purchased it. Let's go. Let's build. Let's connect your social media. Let's build the content. Let's do all those things that you need to do to achieve. Instead, we have to convince them, hey, well, now you have to go in and purchase those things. And then if they still don't purchase, I don't know if I need to take those steps. You still have to try to get them to that result. It's mostly a mindset thing. I don't know. It's like, get the frig over your mind. Like, stop being this scarcity type like fool. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I kind of do, but don't, right? Like, stop being that scarcity mindset fool. Get the freaking thing done. If you need to get it done, get it done. If you need to pay $100, pay a freaking $100. As long as you're getting that result. Now, if you're not getting the result, I get it. There's so many people out there that do all of this BS shiz. This is why we do it for free. It's like, here's free. But to achieve this stuff, you're going to need software. And it's not a charity. I mean, you can go access our charity, but you're not going to get all the resources and tools that you need for a business. You're going to get stuff for your nonprofit. You're going to get stuff for your church, right? So you need those specific things. Now that you need those specific things, guess what you do? You're going to get it. Now it's just about when. Well, when you get it is now when your time moves faster. When you don't get it, your time moves slower. Does that make sense, the logic? So this logic right here, okay, so hopefully that analogy makes sense. So this specific logic, the leanest approach is basically somebody who has purchased, is accessing, and is implementing. Okay, so if you're building a course, that's your leanest approach. Then you're going to have a variable, right? So the first email is, right, we have an overview of it. Let's see if this thing is even started. Oh, they trying to kick me out? Why are they trying to kick me out? Let's see. I'll try to log back in. Oh, maybe it's just having an issue. Well, sorry, it's having an issue. I don't know why. Let's just try it. I have tons of different profiles. Let's just try to jump into the latest one. This is the latest one. Okay, so we're into the latest one. Yay, we need to build this. It's so little right now, but that's okay. So the other one has 12,000 people in it. So that's why it's like, oh, but anyways. So we have this newest one. Okay, cool. So here we go. So now we have this. Let's jump into some logic, right? So we're going to jump into some logic. So again, this is the lean approach. Then we need to start building out, well, there's some variables. Did they pay? Did they not pay? So let's just kind of build these things out, right? So first, we need to jump into here. So let's jump into our main system, okay? Let's jump into our variables, our fields. Okay, and let's jump into a few variables here. So one of the things that we're going to look for is paid, right? If we don't have it, so let's just say we don't. Let's just say plan selection. Okay, cool. Plan selection, here we go. So we have this guy. Let me just check really quick. I'm going to edit this and let's just see what we have. Is standard, right? So we're going to have a plan selection here, okay? Plan selection just basically means they didn't upgrade or they did upgrade. Right? The generic one when somebody comes through plan selection is standard. So let's just make sure we have these variables, okay? So now we're going to jump in, we're going to organize. So again, we are just simply organizing our marketing. So we're going to come into here, okay? We're going to jump in and we're doing the journey right now and we're doing it within sequences. So now this is the sequence, okay? We're going to create a brand new sequence here. So we're going to come here and we can say, I could come in here and create another folder. Let's just do it. So we'll just say, this is our getting started. So this is a series. We don't need to delete it, but this is our getting started series. Okay, we can say this one is Cam's reach out because it's basically me, Cam's reach out or outreach. Okay, so now we're going to say getting started. Okay, now I'm going to copy this guy, series 1 invite. So I'm just going to come here and I'm going to press copy, right? I'm going to duplicate this guy, right? And this guy is, we'll just do this, is journey. So it's the journey and it's getting started. the journey, getting started. So now we should have the journey, getting started. I'm going to move this guy, so we're going to move it. So if you can see how I just duplicate basically. We're going to build out our own nurture. So we're going to kind of leave that for now, right? Our own nurture. So we have that one. I'm going to jump into our email. So this is our emails, right? Emails for series 1. So I can jump in and I can just say, let me rename this to emails. And then within here we have our series 1, right? So I'll just create a folder and I'll just call this our series 1. All these will end up going into that series 1, right? So I can come into here. I will move to folder, series 1, move here, move to folder, series 1, move here, go to folder, series 1, move here, folder, move series 1, move here, folder, series 1, move here. Awesome. And then here, series 1, move here. Okay, cool. So that's our series 1. Now we have a template. So we're going to create a new folder. So this is our new folder. And we're going to say this is our getting started, right? Just kind of matching. Okay, now it's our getting started. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to duplicate this workflow. Okay, and we're just going to call this one, it was the journey getting started. And this one is our invite. And I'll show you how to do it. So again, it's just copy and pasting. Once we have this template in there, it's just copy and pasting basically. So I'll move this guy to getting started. Okay, and we're going to then have these guys come here. So that's getting started. Then I'm just gonna create 5 emails just the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Just the same. We're gonna create some variables, but let's kind of go through. So we have this one, so we're just gonna duplicate this guy, the journey, getting started, and we'll just call this one email number 1. Okay, now again, jumping back to the logic, we know that this is the same. Okay, but it's different for each one. What I mean by that, if I jump into my marketing, and if you're wondering like, hey Cam, like, how did you get this information? What did you do? I can show you those. But if you take a look, we have our logic here. So everyone gets this one, but now this is so we have email number 2A, email number 2B, email number 2C, email number 2D, okay? So what I would do is I would pull up either Grok, or you can use our AI within the platform. You just come right here and it is the Rocket, right? You just talk to it there. Talking to it there, it remembers you. So your assistant will help you the best if you want to do that. If not, use Grok or use whatever the frig you want, right? I'm just going to use Grok because we've already done this, okay? So we have our marketing operation. Let me zoom out because it looks weird. Okay, let me see if it just created a new folder for me. If not, then I'll have to do it again. So this is the last one that we did. We're going to jump into history, marketing, organization. There we go. Nope. As legal, you'd be proud of me of our legal systems that we have. Okay, that's not it. Let's go more. Search. Let's search it. This would be our journey. Well, let's try it. Maybe it's just up tall, up higher. If not, we're just going to restart it. Yeah, we're going to restart it. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So, but anyways, so the idea is we're going to create, so if you see here, we're going to create like a different email sequence based upon what the person is doing. Okay. So there's a few things that we have to create. So first we have our emails, right? So we're going to end up creating these emails. We have up to, it's 4A, but it'll continue further it'll continue beyond that. So let's jump into our automations. We'll jump into our marketing, our campaigns. We'll jump into the journey. So now this is the emails that people will receive. Okay, let me again, I had that. Let me get that done. Okay. So we're in our getting started. So we have this one, email 1. Okay, now we're going to clone this guy. So we're going to duplicate this guy, and we're going to say email to A, and so on and so forth. Okay, let me just rename this guy. Eliminate that. Because there's going to be a variable here, right? To A, let's duplicate this guy. To B. To C. So again, what we're creating here is we're actually creating the perfect onboarding sequence, okay? The perfect onboarding sequence. So if you're like, what the frig? How can Cam create these perfects? These are perfects. You can't create these perfects. Yeah, I can, because I say I can, right? That's perception, if that makes sense. You just say what you can do, and as long as you can do it, it's done, right? So now we have our A done, our A series. Now we're going to do our 3 series.
Esther, WhatsApp audio.
Let me do this. Now we're going to do our 3 series. So I'm going to duplicate this guy, and we're going to say 3A. 3A, the journey. Okay, 3A, clone this one, duplicate this. We're going to say 3B. And hopefully you're copying me on this. If you're like, Cam, you're losing me. This is great and all, but you're losing me. It's okay, right? This is why you can be a part of what we're creating here, right? Because what we're creating here, let me check. C should be a duplication. Duplicate this. What we're creating here is a system that everyone can use. So anything and everything that I build here has a positive feedback loop. Okay, it has a positive feedback loop. And this positive feedback loop allows us to implement it to others, meaning once I create it one time, I can share it with anybody, okay? Not only can I share it with anybody, but what I can do is I can make this usable in a sense for most people. I can actually build this quite a bit. But let's just say I have that done. Perfect. So now we're going to start building some logic. So we have a few different things here, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to connect those emails. So I'm going to come here, let's say email 1. Here's our logic for email 1. Wow, there's crazy processes. Great. We like crazy processes, right? Because crazy processes work. Okay, so we're going to come into here and we're going to say, I'm in the right file. This should automatically connect. I don't know why it didn't. So let's just say opened. Email opened. Save. Unsubscribed. Spam. Bounced. There we go. That should be good. Okay, cool. Then let's make sure that this is actually not crappy. Perfect. Okay, that's fine. Okay. This is based on the email, right? Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, cool. So now we're going to just grab this as your email number 1. So email number 1, I'm just going to edit this template, grab this. Again, this was in the operations that I gave to people for free, right? So again, is it complex? Sure, sure. But the complexity is done for you. It makes it so you don't have to worry about this. This is just like a snapshot, if that makes sense. But now we have email 1 done, right? We're going to implement email 1, email 2A. So I just come here, jump in, and I just grab template, right? And I call it email, and I call it the journey email 2A, save, save, and I'll do the same thing, right? Well, 2A, let me turn everything on, make sure everything's turned on, because for some reason that copy, I think I copied the wrong, yeah. My template wasn't done, so I need to adjust my template so I never have to do this again. So I'll adjust that and I'll update it for everybody. So this way, if anyone else is experiencing this, they don't have to anymore. So that, let's do complaint. because this kind of becomes tedious, right? This is spam complaint. This is bounce. Now, each and every one of these sections, you don't have to really worry about these, but each and every one of these specific systems is designed for specific actions that happened or that will happen. So let's see, make sure that's all good. That's all good. Save. Okay, I can now publish this guy. Meaning if there's a bounce that happens, you have an operation that handles the bounce. If it's open, you have an operation that handles the open. If it's reported spam, you have the operation that does all of those things. So the idea of this is to make it so, again, we've already done it for you, so you don't have to freaking do anything. You just literally copy and paste all of this. All this other crap is just think of it as it works, if that makes sense. Proven for thousands and thousands of contexts, it works. You don't have to worry about it. You just copy and paste it, right? We give that to every account as well. So anyone who comes in has these done. And then I'm putting in extra trainings on all of this stuff too. So but let's come here. We'll go into email. This is email number 2. This is 2B. 2B, save. And since this is tedious, I'm going to do it like this. Because I'm going to just skip past time, because then I don't have to see how I'm doing this crap over and over and over again. I'm just going to make it so I don't have to do this. So this is my last one I'll create, right? Everything else, I won't, let's see, spam. I won't be doing this crap again, because it's just time suck. It's a waste, and I don't like wasting my time. Bounce email, okay, and that's everything within here. The notes are all good. Yep, everything's good. Save, so it's 2B. We're gonna just use 2B as a template. We're gonna save that guy, jump back. All these other ones, right? See all these other ones? We're gonna say screw it. Bye, right? Let's just say bye to them. Delete. I'm just gonna say confirm. Why I'm doing this is dyslexic. Confirm. Let me copy this. Why I'm doing this is because for whatever reason, the template didn't have it already built in. So now it's just taking me time. So I'm going to show you how to do it without doing that. So if you have this snapshot from me already, right? I will force an update, but you might need to go and adjust it if that template's bad. I might have already done it. I'll just double check it. Because I didn't copy what was in our whole system. I copied what was in the main system. Okay, so now I should be able to just copy this guy. So here we go, duplicate, because this one's already done. There we go. And if you're like wondering like how the frig do I get it? I'll show you how to get it too. Now we're gonna see, so we just did C, right? And move that because that's a capital letter. Let's get that down. C. Okay, now let's just check. Boom. Okay, it's working. Great. That will make us a lot faster. Email. And this is 2C. Save and save. Okay. But again, if you're like, how the frig do I access this? Again, we send it to people. You access it within your members portal. What does that mean, right? When you're in here, you just jump into your profile, right? So you would jump into your profile. When you're in your profile, there's something called members portal. Just click on that guy. That members portal is going to log you into this, and then you would have this snapshot email operation. Click on that. And then you'll have a walkthrough of that email operation just like this. That's how you do it. Like, again, let me show you. Very, very easy. To access that specific asset, you log in. You access your specific account. So let's say this is your specific account. All you do is you click on Members Portal. Members Portal. It'll log you right in just like that. You click on this. And then sure enough, you have it. There's a video intro.
Organized into several sections to streamline delivery. The first section covers your...
Okay, so you have an introduction to it. You have a project overview that goes through it. You have an asset. So here's how you access and edit it. You have your link to be able to get it. You have ways in which to implement it. You have your feedback, and then you have, of course, your help center. So if you're trying to access it, that's how you access it. Pretty freaking easy, okay? But that being said, let's slide back. If you have questions, just let me know. Okay. Let's jump into here. So we're in campaigns, we're in journeys. Okay. Email sequences. Let's just get these things rocking. Okay. So we have A, B, C. We need D. Okay. So let's come into here. Let's duplicate this guy. A, B, C, and this is D. Now, once they have a system that allows us to mass duplicate specific things like this, once they have this, I can do a lot. They don't have it yet, but I would be able to do like crazy automations and systems once that's done. Okay, but see how easy this is? Now I don't have to go back and change these things, right? Pretty easy. So we have that. I'll just come into here, duplicate this guy, duplicate this. We'll just call this one 3. And then we'll come in and build the logic out. And then sure enough, we have a campaign done. How easy was that? Kind of easy. Again, some of you are probably like, I don't know, Cam, that seemed kind of difficult, right? It could be, right? Here, I'm just going to do multiple at a time. A, B. And I'll just do duplicate C. Duplicate D, and then we'll throw in 4. Okay, and then I'll just do this again. Duplicate. We'll call this one 4A. 4A. Duplicate. 4B. Where did the 4B go? Probably on the next page. Duplicate. 4C. Duplicate. Okay. Awesome. So now let's just connect these guys. So we have this one. We're going to just simply come here, connect to 3A. Save, publish. Now we have a system that's practically, again, how this will work. We advance our logic, meaning we grew from what we had prior. That's the key. It's testing data, growing more, testing data, growing more, testing data, growing more, right? Our goal is to increase our open rates. Our goal is to increase our deliverability. Our goal is to increase every single step of the way. As we can do that, then we can rebuild, right? And then the goal is to slowly get to the point of, we'll call it singularity. Slowly get to the point of singularity. Once you're at the point of singularity, things are just working, and they're working very well. Okay? Once they're working and working very, very well, that's when you move forward. Okay? But here we go. This is, what is it, 3D? Okay, publish 3D. Then I go to 4A. Let's just make sure we have 4A. We do 4A as our last one. Perfect. Okay, cool. And we'll just leave it like that until we add more. Okay, so now we have all of these done. We do have one missing. Let's just duplicate it. Duplicate this guy, and we have our invite because we deleted it, right? Okay. So many emails we just did within this newsletter with the logics that we have, because again we have logic, we have kind of everything within here, right? Alrighty, we're gonna come right here, and we're gonna call this one our invite sequence. Okay, cool. Everything looks great on there. Let's just double check this since I added one of the first ones. That looks great. We'll publish this guy and save this guy. Cool. So now we have most everything done, right? So we would then, of course, start it. So we have these are our emails, and our emails are done. Let me get this template adjusted because this template was the issue. This should be opened. This should be unsubscribed. This should be spam. This is a bounced email. Alrighty, let's save that guy. Cool, there's our template. Awesome. So now, again, we have this campaign. Over time, we just build it out. That's all you do. You just keep on building the thing out. So, but that being said, thanks for sharing. Let's make sure that they didn't block my content. Sometimes they block content. Nope, I'm gonna just jump back, see what we got. Okay, so we posted a little bit ago. Maybe it didn't yield the best results, but let's just take a look. We have a few different comments coming up here, a few different people that liked it. Okay, cool. So that's cool. Awesome. I was just checking it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and build out this logic. Okay, so we went through most everything, so we're going to come right here. We're going to go to our sequences. Okay, so we have our sequences here. Again, I call this CAM's outreach, but that's okay. We'll just kind of come into here and we'll move this. We'll move these guys. It's really series 1, so I'll just rename it in just a second. Move folder, move folder, okay, and we'll just call this one, rename this folder as series 1. Cool, then we have our getting started, then we'll have series 1, series 2, series 3, series 4, and so on, okay. So now we have our invite sequence, so this is our invite sequence, okay, getting started, the journey, okay. What will happen, survey is the registration, which is perfect. Wait about 10 minutes, right? And then as soon as they fill that thing out, we're going to get them added to a course. So this is just the getting started course granted. Course granted is the getting started course. Okay, save that guy. Okay, and I'm actually going to move this action to right here. So that way, again, the course is granted and then the email is sent. Now, I need to make sure that this email, so I'm going to jump into memberships, I'm going to jump into this products, and then with this products, we're going to jump into our getting started. We're going to jump into our customizer. Well, let me just check. Is there an issue here? Let me just see. Advanced, this is customized. Instructor, there's me. Founder, yep, okay. I'm doing something wrong. Let's just go into our offers. Getting started here. Where's our communication side? Let me just check. Email settings, there we go. Sign up, automatically send welcome. Let's see what that looks like really quick. New course material unlocked. That one's good. There we go. That seems good. Okay, let's running. It'll give people access to these specific courses. I would probably give them a drip sequence. Send a welcome. I don't need that welcome. Okay, cool. So now we have that. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to now build out some of the sequences. Okay, so we're going to go to marketing, campaign. We're going to jump into the journey. We're going to jump into our Alrighty. Okay. Alright. Just getting distracted. Gotta love it when we get distracted. Okay, cool. So let's slide back. So we have our emails. Now let's just jump in. We got quite a few things done. Let's just see. Series 1, template here. We're going to say our sequences. Within our sequences, we're going to say our getting started sequence. We're going to have this invite sequence now. Okay, this invite sequence again. As soon as somebody fills that out, we're going to wait 10 minutes, roughly from 10 minutes, because we want them to kind of get like, whoa, right? Like, so there's a piece to this. We want them to finalize it, get it in. I'm actually going to drop this down to about 3 minutes. Let's do 5 minutes. Let's do 5 minutes. I want them to be like a little bit like overwhelmed a tiny bit. Let's do 3 minutes. 3 minutes is good. But then I want to be like that sense of hope, if that makes sense. There's a sense of hope to say, look, I know you're freaking lost. I know you're lost. Come on, let's get started. So now they're like, okay, I get it. Does that make sense? That's what I want. And then we'll give them all of this access. So boom, we'll just say this. That's called the success journey. We'll call that the same thing, success journey, access, and then we're going to bring them into that invite. Invite sequence, getting started invite. Perfect. And then we'll bring them into stage 1 marketing. Okay, so this is stage 1 marketing. Marketing, let me just make sure it's right here. This is action steps, so they take an action in stage 1. That is correct. Stage 1 marketing. And then we're going to add them to the journey. Getting started. And I would call this one just nurture. This is the nurture of that. Okay, which we don't quite have yet. Okay, so we're going to come in and we're going to build that out in a sec. So status, content has completed, workflow, and then we'll get this workflow, the journey. I like to notate absolutely everything. The journey, getting started, invite. Okay, so now we have this, the journey. I can't start that quite yet, so let's jump into our next side. So we're going to, again, create this logic from scratch. So we can take a look at these last ones. So let's jump into series 1. Let's jump into nurture. Right, nurture is we have a little bit of a wait, 1 day, and then it transitions. So we can do the exact same thing, okay? But we're going to build it kind of out from scratch. So getting started, okay? We're going to create new. So we're going to call it new. And it is, I'm just going to step back really quick so I can grab this guy name. So copy paste. And then I'm going to jump into here. And I'm going to call this one nurture. Nurture. Okay. So there we go. There's the nurture. And then we're going to put a little weight here. And what I like to do, if this system isn't built yet, I like to put a wait here, and I like to put 365 days is what I like to do. Now, the reason that I like to do this is because it allows me time to come here. So I can come here, and now I can turn this guy on, right? And now I know that people will come into this side, but I can build underneath it without stopping the momentum of operations. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense, okay? So now I can come here getting started, right? And now I can click this guy. I can then just say nurture, right? We have a few nurturers, getting started nurture, right? Now that one's active, right? So since this one's active, I can technically turn this guy on, right? Yes, turn it on, okay? So now they're going to get that. Now I have a little bit of a time frame to be able to get this. So now this will rock, okay? It'll get rocking. This series 1, I can kind of keep this series 1 going, right? So this way it's like, this one I think comes from me. Let me just check. Because it activates here. And I'll just exit this and I'll add tag and I'll type this as series 1. Series 1, cool. Marketing stage, since I already did this, I actually don't need this. So I would just drop that out. And this one's series 1. I'll just do this, add to series 1 nurture. Nurture. Okay. Now I have a series 1 nurture that's added, so I can save this, right? This is fine. I can keep it rocking, right? Wait 10 minutes, I can't. So one hits at 3, they have it, one hits at about 10 minutes. So now they're getting 2 emails within a rough period of 13 minutes. Okay, that's in a sense what they're getting. Now this is series 1. I'll keep it as series 1, so that way they can get that rocking. I have this getting started, so let's just jump in. So the very first thing that we have here, right? So we have that first intro. Now we're going to wait. This is a day, and then we're going to add this email. Okay, so we're going to add. In this case, we're going to add a workflow because we built all of our emails in workflows. Okay, and we're going to have email number 1. Okay, email number 1. So we're going to jump in. We're going to say email number 1. Pass the parameters. Add to, and I'll just say email number 1. And I can copy that. But now it's adding to email number 1. Okay, save. And I'm going to then copy this guy, copy this. I'm going to add it right there. Okay, now we have this. Now I'm going to just change this to day wait 1. Okay, day wait 1 is just basically, we're just waiting basically is what we're doing. So again, let's just say you're building it out and you're like, oh, what the frick do I do next, right? What you do is just add a variable of wait 365 days. So you have freaking a year to figure the freaking thing out. This way your operation can still run. In this case, I'm waiting 1 day, right? And I'm going to do a series. It'll be a day by day by day by day series, right? So now we're going to do a few different things, okay? So we have that variable, okay? So jumping back, we have this variable, okay? So what we've created so far, if you take a look here, we've created the invite sequence, right? So I'll put a little square around it. We've created this invite sequence, done. We've created the nurture sequence, done. We created the first email, done. And now we're jumping in, so I think this makes sense, but we've done this so far. So let's arrange this, let's push it to the back, okay? So now this has been completed. Cool, right? So let's put a little style on there maybe, something like that. It's been completed, great. That just looks freaking weird. That's cool, we'll just leave it, okay? Now we're gonna focus on this logic, okay? So we have first a linear process. So we can focus on this linear process. So let's focus on this linear process, okay? So this linear process is this. So if I come in here, okay, wait, well, we know that there's going to be an if-then statements, okay? So we're gonna say it's if. And this specific process, okay, is going to be a nurture sequence based upon that. So we're gonna say, and I might create multiple sequences. So this way it's like, hey, if somebody purchases, it removes them from here and adds them here. If somebody does this, it moves them from here. I know that's like, that's kind of overkill, Cam. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but no, okay. But we'll just say this. So we'll just say upgraded plus, right? So we have a few different variables, upgraded plus accessed. So let's jump in, upgraded plus accessed. Okay, so that's the first one, upgraded plus accessed. Okay, and we'll create the variable, X branch. Okay, so we'll now add these. So upgraded, we know that they're plan. So let's jump into a plan. A plan. Let's see if I can just type it in. Plan selection, okay, is anything but, let's jump into here, is not standard. So we'll make sure that everyone has a standard coming in, but if their plan is not standard, that means they've upgraded to one or the other, okay? We can also say if their plan is this and this and this and this and this. Now it just comes down to which one do we want the error to be, right? Do we want the error to occur when this isn't automatically added, or do we want the error to be if it doesn't automatically read? There could be an error, so we're going to analyze that error, okay? In this case, I'm just going to leave it like this, okay? So it's just like that. And then I'm going to put an and, has tag, right? And I'll put tag. And if you're wondering, well, hey, Cam, how did you put these tags in? I put them in already, some of them, okay? Has tag, includes, right? And we'll say accessed, course login. So now this means that they've accessed it. It's not a standard, they've upgraded, and they have course login. Pretty easy, right? So let's do the next one. So let's duplicate the branch, okay? And we'll just say upgrade, and I'll just say no access. No, not accessed, okay? And I'll just say does not include course login. Pretty simple, right? And then we'll just duplicate this guy, duplicate, right? And we'll say plan is standard and does not have that, right? So, and I'll put no, not upgraded and not accessed, right? And then I'm going to duplicate probably this one, duplicate this one, duplicate. And I'll remove this and I'll just say not upgraded but accessed. Upgraded plus accessed, right? So then I'd put just is standard, but includes that tag. Pretty easy, right? I'll just move these guys. So we have upgraded. I want the upgraded up top because it'll give them a faster linear direction. Okay, now let's save this guy. Okay, so now we have a few different variables of what somebody's going to go on. Okay, a few different variables. Yay, they're there. Yeah. So now what we're going to do is just kind of organize it, and let me just double check the logic on this. So I can push them down a linear process there. Yep, that's correct. There's different content there. That's correct. There is an issue, a calculation issue, but that's okay. If we keep the series small enough, it doesn't matter. If we keep it like a big, linear, long series, then it matters. But if we keep it small, it doesn't matter. Because the only thing that will matter is, at the end, is did they access the course and did they upgrade? And if the answer is no on both of those things, then we know to put them into a system. If the answer is yes, they did, then we know to take them out of those systems. So yeah, as long as we keep this logic short, again, I'll just this is how I do it. So when I'm analyzing a system, I have to think through it, right? So I stop myself and I analyze every single possibility of how it works, why it works, and then I come out with the best solution. In this case, the best solution isn't to build out the complex logic, because that just it's a over expression of energy. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to create a linear system, the lean system, the MVP, right? Create the lean system, and then once we have the lean system, we're going to implement it on a short module. The reason that we're going to do a short module is because there's room for error. And if there's room for error on shortness, perfect. If it's the whole big thing and there's room for error, it ruins the whole thing. Make sense? Hopefully. So that's the logic. So diving back, so again, now we're going to have this guy. So we're going to call this one A. So this is email 1. Okay, so we're going to put this in. We're going to add workflow. So we can technically just come here, right? We'll wait one more day. That's fine. But we're going to come in and we're going to copy this. I'm going to copy this guy and I'm going to come here. Okay, and then this workflow is going to get big. That's okay. We'll make it big. I'm just analyzing how big it's going to get to fix all of those variables. I can show you. We can do that. So let's just say email 2. So this would actually be email 2A, right? So email 2A. So we would say 2A. There it is. That's their email 2A. Okay. And now I can clone this guy, copy this guy, copy this guy. This is email 2A or 2B. So now I can say 2B. Copy. I'm going to get a little bit complex here. Hopefully you don't mind. Because I was just analyzing how easy it would be. Now, I don't know if the system will handle this. I'm going to do some crazy complexities here that I do not recommend. But I'm going to do them anyways. Okay? But I wouldn't recommend this because if you don't know how to quite test for it, you're screwed. But I'm going to do it anyways. I know how to test for it. I know how to see what's going on. And I know the complexities of this. So that makes me have a little bit of a benefit over. Okay? I'm going to put this in. I'm going to put a wait here. So if it wasn't any of these guys, we're going to wait 365 days. This is a manual check. This is, I'll say wait till manual check. Because that's basically what this is going to do. It's going to wait for a manual check to move it forward. Okay. Wait till manual check. Flag it as an error. Notate. And I'll just status. I'll say error occurred. Occurred. Error occurred. Let's do that. I'll just do this. There was an error that occurred. Within link workflow at the email number 2 sequence. Okay, I'm just putting that in so that way I'm tracking for error. And I will then put this into, so this is my note, copy. I will then add as well a task. Add task, and we'll say manual check needed. Description here, boom. And I will put this URL here. URL equals this. So this way I know if there's an error that occurred, exactly where the error occurred with a specific URL here. Okay, and I will assign to, I need to put in our, so this is our onboarding AI. Do it now. So I'll assign it to our AI for our AI to handle it. Kind of cool, right? Okay, so that's it. And I'll put internal notification. Send internal notification. And I'll put notification in here. We're going to push, whoops, save this guy. I'll put T here, so I can fill it with text. Redirect to contact, assign to all users. No, assign to onboarding. This should be actually assigned to our one stop. Okay, there it is. And then I'm going to grab this guy, copy, save. Manual check needed. Okay, cool. There we go. Save that. Awesome. Okay, now you want to get crazy? Okay, so now we can come into here. Let's get a little crazy here. Ready? This one would be wait one day. So we're going to get a little crazy with this. what this craziness is this. I'm going to copy all. I'm going to paste that all right here. Kind of cool, right? Copy, I'm going to copy all. I'm going to paste that all right here. Like I said, it's going to kind of get a little crazy. I'm going to copy all. I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to copy all. I'm going to paste it here. Right? So now we're getting into a process that is a little bit crazy. Okay? So now we would change this, of course, to our email. These have to be changed anyways. So let me just check really quick. Let's email that. And then this will be changed, but it'll follow the same logic down all 4 paths, which is crazy. It's a little crazy. Do I want to do it that way, though? I'm just thinking. I don't want to do it that way. Actually, there's a reason why. Delete all actions. I should complete it first is the reason why. So before I do this, again, I know this is kind of a little bit crazy. We're going to complete this one, right? Because this one should be, if they're still here, which they should be, right? This one would be now 3A. 3A. And it's just determining that buying sequence. And again, I don't recommend this, but I'm doing it anyways. And the reason I don't recommend this, I do not recommend ever building out massive builds. Ever, 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 ever. Okay, that's just me. I just don't. Okay. 3A. 3B. 3C. 3D. Okay, there's that. And now we're going to copy this guy. Clone, copy. Well, let's just make sure it's 1 day. Perfect. Clone, copy all. Add here. Clone, copy all. Add here. Clone, copy all. Add here. Now again, I don't recommend this, but we're going to have this fun sequence. Again, this is determining where everyone's buying piece is. And I'm just trying to think if they would skip an email if this were the case. Technically, they would. I might just stop. Yeah. Like I said, too complex. I don't like it. I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to... I can do it for these upgraded ones, but the logic's going to be different for these not upgraded ones. Because, and let me kind of explain it, these upgraded ones, it's a linear process, but with different emails forward, right? So I technically, I don't need any of these logics besides, I mean, unless they downgrade, right? But I already know that they accessed it. And if they access it, they already have a time frame. So this is kind of counterintuitive. So yeah, I wouldn't need any of that. So like I said, I was trying to be daring, but the logic doesn't actually make sense. So I'm not going to do that. But I am going to do this, okay? So this being said, so this one now, we can wait for 1 day. We can then copy this guy. I'll just copy this guy. I'll just build the linear sequence right now. Okay, so I'm going to actually copy this. I'm going to copy all actions. And I'm going to add it here. Okay, so this one would be 3A. Okay, and let me come right here. Let's say copy all actions, put it right here. And this one would be 4A. That's what we have right now. We'll continue that later. Okay, 4A. Now there would be logic similar to this, up here, but it would only take these two if they've accessed or not accessed. So technically I could come here. Let me delete this. Let me copy this. Copy all from here, add this. Now let me jump into the conditions. And then I need, they've already upgraded. So I need to remove this guy. Delete branch, yes. And I need to remove this guy. Delete branch, yes. So there should be only two here. Right, of course there would be an error. And I would need to notate this. Email sequence number 3. Add task, email sequence number 3. And then wait for manual check, perfect. And then manual check, I would create a go-to step for go-to. Yep, a go-to step. Save, that go-to step would be a retest. Once that's done, it would bring them forward. Same thing with this. Over here would be a go-to step. Go-to step. Again, I don't like building modules like these. I like section them all out. But technically that's how that system would work. Two, okay, and now this would be your email 3A. 3A. Alrighty, this one would be your email. And then this one would be that a copy. So in a sense we have 3A, 3 this, right? So I could technically come here and I could technically grab this guy. Let me just check. Nope, that's correct actually. Let me just check. 3A. Yeah, so I would actually delete this one and delete this one. There we go, and that process would now work. Wait a day. From that day, it comes down this path to end, right? That logic would then continue. Then we would have another logic down here, which I would have to copy this guy down here, copy this guy down here. And if you can see, there's a progression of slowing down. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to make it live. Okay, we already have it live. And then we're going to start it. So should we start it? Let's just start it. So we have a time frame now. So here's our start. So we have an invite sequence. Okay, here's our invite sequence. So we're going to trigger this, right? This is going to give people accesses to this specific one. So just in case we didn't do it, we're going to say getting started. Okay, so that's a getting started. And then I'm not going to do this on screen, obviously, for certain reasons. So I'm going to bring this back and I'm going to come down here. Okay, we're going to launch this. Okay, so we have our invite. Our invite's there. We've tested it. We're going to come in and we're going to launch this guy. So I'm going to jump into our contacts. Okay, I'm going to just select all of these guys that haven't been selected to, which is probably everybody who haven't been selected to that thing. And then from that piece, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it forward. Okay, so we're going to say add to automation. That automation will be, should be the journey. Let me just make sure we have it. Automation, marketing, campaigns, the journey. Let me just check the emails really quick. Email invite. Okay, and then what is this series or sequence named? It is just the invite. Okay, perfect. So contact. So we're going to put a few thousand people in. Okay, so on this specific side, we're going to get people that workflow. Okay, so we're going to say it should be this one right here. Boom. And I could bring them all in at once. So let's just say the journey. session name, add to the journey. That way they're getting these emails. Let me add that. Progress. Okay, cool. So now let me jump into that automation really quick so that way you have an idea of it. So we had it clean enough to launch the first time. That's okay. Let me see. So if you can see now, we're just loading it up. Okay, we'll jump back into here. Make sure that there's enough of a wait. Perfect. So that way one wait, and then we'll make sure that the email sequences are right, which we already went through. Great, and then again, this system will start working on here. So we have, just in case, I'm going to put this one at 365 days, just to ensure that it is completely done before we move forward. But there we go. That's it. Okay, and then what, again, that will do, if you take a look, we should already get some people in here. And then that should be, and if that will load, that will be it. So again, we built this campaign. This campaign will be an intro sequence. That intro sequence, if this thing will load, its main goal, main purpose is to get people into, let me just check it. I have some emails. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Okay, so we have some emails that are being sent right now. GHL is going so freaking slow. Since it's going so slow, I can't show you the result of it, but just know that it's starting to send out emails. I'll just double check some automation to make sure. Okay, so that campaign is working. We have our first email. We have our getting started email. And then let's just make sure that that getting started email invite is live. Perfect. Perfect. So we have some systems launching. So it's just taking freaking forever. Jeez, I wish that this thing just kind of launched as soon as, oh, there it is. Getting started, we have 24,000 people that just got activated into it. That's why it takes them about 3 minutes. Right, we have that 3-minute delay in there, and then it's going to start rocking. Sends the email, grants the offer, and it kicks me out at the same time. Fun. That's okay. So let me just check in our membership, our products, if our user accounts are increasing up. 101 in there, and it logged me out. Gotta love it when it logs me out. Let's just make sure that that's sent out and ready to rock. It's not. So I'm going to end it. I'm going to end the live since we're waiting on Go High Level to finish their stuff. But basically, we just launched it with 25, roughly 100 people. 2,500 people are coming through this automation. They're going to start getting emails. They're going to start being invited into this entire system. But that being said, hopefully this live was enjoyable. It was a long one. Hopefully it was enjoyable. I went through quite a few different things, some complexities. Now, I do this custom for people. So when I jump in, I can come in and I can build out complete marketing systems. I can build out complete operational systems. I can build out complete departments for people. So if that's something that you do desire, feel free to reach out. As always, thanks for watching. My name's Cameron Garlick. If you have questions, feel free. Thanks so much. We'll talk soon. Bye.